Something happens after we say I do that changes how we look at our spouse. Can you identify with that? Do you find yourself being judgmental just a little or maybe even a lot? So let's dig deep into that today. I'm Dr. Kimberling. I'm the president of Awesome Marriage. Nancy and I have been married for 51 years and I've counseled couples for almost 40 years. Before we get into our second thing, would you just take a moment to subscribe, then hit the bell so you never miss a video? Thanks. You know, at some point in your marriage, you made a shift. You went from thinking that the two of you have so much in common to the reality that you also have a ton of differences. And this is where most couples, most people get off track. We go from loving everything about our spouse to finding out there are things that we don't love about them. And then we try to change those things. We take that person that once upon a time we thought was perfect for us, just the way they were, and we try to fit them into a mold that we designed. We want to give them a makeover to turn them into our version of them. We think if they would just do this or not do that, our lives would be so much better. Sound familiar? Most couples do this. Some do it a lot and some don't do it so much. Now, as an aside, I know that God uses marriage to mold us and stretch us and make us into who He created us to be. So all of us will need to make some change in marriage. But there's a huge difference between your spouse becoming more of who God created them to be and you making your spouse into who you want them to be. See the difference? So here's our dilemma. When you don't agree with your spouse, when you're not on the same page or even in the same book, how do you accept those differences? How do you see those differences as good and not as something that you need to convince them to change? How do you keep from judging them and thinking they have to be wrong because you've got to be right? Consider this. Try reframing your spouse. What if you always saw your spouse as a teammate? In playing sports, my teammates were all different. Sure, we had similarities, and there were some of them that I identified with a lot. But we were a team. Their differences didn't pull the team apart, or if we did focus on our differences in a negative way, our one-loss record could quickly tumble. What we also found is that our differences were valuable. The team was stronger because of our differences. We had a choice: accept and embrace these differences or fight them. The differences became a positive thing instead of a negative thing. Now let's apply that to your marriage. Look at this famous piece of fine art. It's titled The Ninth Way by Ivan Azinsky, and it's available on brushwiz.com. What do you see? I see a storm with huge waves and a small boat full of men fighting the waves. It also shows the sun, so there is a sense of hope. But what if the only part of the painting you saw was this? What would you think? I would think these guys are in big trouble. But what if this is the part of the painting I showed you? Now what do you see? I see a beautiful sunset. I see a painting created by God. You have the same choice with your spouse. Your spouse is the big picture. What do you focus on? Do you see only the negative and therefore judge them? Or do you see the positive and focus and build on it? Thing number 2 is don't be judgmental. Again, you have a choice. What will you choose? Don't forget my One Thing email helps you to be intentional in growing your marriage every day. Plus, you'll be one of the first to know about all of our new resources. It's free. Go to onething.email or to our website, awesomemarriage.com. Join the tribe. Make your marriage awesome. We'd love to have you.